Usually after a race like that, you want to be really hard to yourself. I mean, this was actually, I think, besides 2018, where I dropped out, the worst result I've ever had at a World Championship, full distance. Of course, not how I envisioned the day, but let's start from the beginning. Race morning, we had to take shuttle buses to the transition area, which is, in my opinion, a really good idea because logistics otherwise get totally out of hand. And usually I'm the one that opens the gate at the transition area. First one in. I was about to say last one out. Luckily not that bad today, but yeah. Shuttle bus was already late. Then we just boarded another shuttle. And I don't know if they got lost, but we went through a construction site and it was totally crazy. I mean, I have to look at my Whoop data, but I think my heart rate was already like 160 this morning. Fast forward, swim start, we made it in time. Of course, there was plenty of time. There was no need to really stress, but of course I was stressed. And yeah, the swim start was, it wasn't great, but it was all right. I had definitely worse. And also the swim was all right. I mean, I've been together with some guys in the group where I thought like that would also probably be close to not be with them in the group. Guys like Lino, who had a couple of pretty decent swims, especially with wetsuit. Just looking at the Collins Cup, for example, and a couple of other ones. And it wouldn't have made any sense anyway to swim any faster. I would have been in absolutely no man's land. Unfortunately, Cameron was also in the group, and Cameron is used to pro cycling speeds, and therefore he went out with pro cycling speeds. And I mean, we had a plan: be conservative, don't completely blow yourself up. To be honest, I think I was somewhere in between. I let the group ride and most parts of the group, but I also was at least close to I think what was possible. I mean, looking at the race now, I definitely was over this limit. Heads up to Lionel. He did absolutely amazing. I mean, a lot of people always think like, yeah, it's so great, you go out in the front and rip the bike apart, it's so awesome, but it requires more balls to let a group like this go with 10 guys, and this is the train to the front, where you think when you let them ride, you will never see anyone again. And he was, I mean, he didn't let me ride, and I was, like I said, already relatively conservative. I pushed just round about 330 on the uphills, but then I also managed to just keep up the power on the flat. So therefore, I caught a lot of guys back. And after Red Hills Parkway, I don't know, that might be at around 80k or something like that. He caught back up to me, and then through Gunlock, I was just riding with him, and yeah, he was strong, and I had to slow down at a couple of aid stations because I knew you have to be careful with nutrition, with hydration, and I always struggled to catch back up, and just like these 3-4 minutes where you have to be a little bit higher than you should be, just cost a lot of energy. And then on the climb at the end of Gunlock, which is the middle of the first lap, yeah, I had to let him go because I knew if I now try to stay with him, I would blow up completely. I blowed up anyway. Yeah, so I caught up to Sam long, but then he tried to stay with Lino for some time, and so they rode away. So it was, I mean, it was a great race from a fairness standpoint. I've never seen a professional long course race with this amount of groups, and I mean, just look at the result. You don't find a couple of names that you would probably find in a lot of other long course races, just because they had to ride on their own, and that's a huge difference. Usually I would say an advantage for me, but today I just didn't had the day. I think I was better prepared than the result showed. But let's first move on to the further bike action. There were a lot of guys going away, then I caught some of them again, and then they rode away again. But yeah, I just couldn't hold the power steady as I planned to do, and I just had maybe a drop in the second half of like maybe around about 35 watts, or maybe even 35 watts. Of course, it's a little bit difficult to say because you have these climbs and downhills, but also on the climb of Snow Canyon, I was like, it's gonna be a hard day. And I mean, the guys in front were riding really, really well, and I hit the run, and I knew I was sure there will be a couple of guys blowing up, but surprisingly there were not too many guys, you know, really struggling. I mean, Sam Long struggled, but yeah, other than that, I mean, it was more Ben and David McNamee who caught me actually pretty quick. And yeah, I mean, there was no way to stay with them. I knew that, yeah, like I said, I didn't really have the day. Then what do you do? I mean, I was about to, you know, call it a day, and because when you know that maybe your feet can carry you just another, you know, like another, I mean, at least one world championship, but at one point I don't know how much more is possible. The preparation, like I said, went really well actually, so that was definitely not the reason. Also, my mindset was not the reason. I think I was in a good place for my mind, and sometimes you just don't know. It's just so difficult for me to really know what happened, because of course you start to talk yourself down. But then on the other hand, all the numbers and everything in training, it looked alright. It wasn't like amazing, but it definitely looked alright, good enough from what I thought for, you know, maybe top 5. And yeah, it wasn't the case. And then you start to ask yourself, why is this? And I can't really think of any reason right now what might went wrong. Maybe, like I said, I overdid it a little bit on the bike, but not in that amount that I thought I would drop that much power. I started the run believing that there's probably even a top 5 still possible, because I thought, like I said, that a couple of guys will definitely blow up, but nobody really blew up. And so therefore at one point it's very difficult to find reasons why you even want to hurt yourself that much. Yeah, and in the end, it's, of course, it has a lot to do with the people that were cheering me on the side. I mean, Like there were dudes stopping on the downhill with their bikes and cheered me on. This is like absolutely amazing. So thanks a lot, guys. And then also, of course, thinking about the family back home who also made some sacrifices. Then you better finish. What else? Talk a little bit about the competition. Yeah, I think Bloomy was it a surprise? No, but with the rumors before the race that both Norwegians actually have been a little bit sick, I think he was definitely going through some issues, and therefore he executed an absolutely crazy good race. There's no doubt about it. For me, the hero of the day is definitely Lino, just because he wasn't bullshitting at the press conference.
Like, I mean, you sit there, you're sick, you're not telling anybody. You sit there, you're injured, you're not telling anybody. You did exactly what you said on the press conference. You were super conservative. You hold it together in a situation like that where the train is leaving in front of
including you, my friend. You're riding away.
No, I actually was in between. I mean, I got dropped from the group as well. Okay. I mean, I let the
they
group
were riding
go.
too hard.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way.
Yeah, I agree.
No fucking way.
I've done this enough times. I've walked enough times.
On the first hill, I was like, okay.
Well, I mean, I was looking to you for advice, like just watching your movements, because you're most experienced, and
yeah, and I was
you didn't go with them, so, but then you did go. No, a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
You went a little. You're like in between.
I thought like I can't let the whole group go. I just something in between, and
well, I was reflecting on
was
what you
already
said.
Too much.
You said that it's a balance of not losing, staying within yourself, but also not staying within yourself such that you completely lose. So I guess it's a fine line.
Yeah, it is, man. You amazing. Oh, yeah.
It's a win for me. So
yeah,
it is. It's a meaningful
win, man.
In the past, he often accessed his problems really well, but then did the same mistakes just all over again. And this time, he was just, I think in the last video he had it, patience. And he was patient and absolutely delivered schooling when it comes to how to pace this race. And therefore very well deserved runner-up in the World Championships. I'm not gonna talk you through the whole women's race. I was still on the course when I saw Daniela was with a big lead, and I'm absolutely happy for Daniela, because so many people doubted her and said, yeah, well, this was probably it. It's probably not it. You just added another world title. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it, what I have to say. Now back to the ice without the bars. Or now back in the, or not back, but now we're gonna try the hot tub probably. And thanks guys for watching the series. I hope you enjoyed it. And thanks for all the support. Really means a lot to me. I think I'm not, don't count me out yet. I think there's still something in it. I knew that there would have been more, but unfortunately I wasn't able for some reason. But maybe if I assessed it with the coach and so on, then we'll see.